My ex-girlfriend is insane. And I don't mean the clingy, overly emotional, or jealous kind of crazy. I mean stalking me, accusing me of cheating, ruining my life kind of insane. There's something seriously wrong with her mentally, and I didn't realize just how bad it was until it was too late. We only dated for 5 months, a short relationship, really, but everything changed the moment we became intimate. It was like flipping a switch, activating her C mode. C for crazy, if you catch my drift. The first real red flag should have sent me running. I was playing a game one evening when she stormed into the room, furious about something trivial. Before I could even process her anger, she ripped the cords out of the wall, shutting the game down mid-match. I was stunned, but for some reason, I stayed. Looking back, I don't know why I didn't leave right then and there. Maybe it was guilt or maybe it was fear. Either way, I ignored the warning signs. My fault, I suppose. But things got worse, much worse. I finally worked up the courage to break it off after months of her erratic behavior. She didn't take it well. For weeks, she wouldn't stop harassing me, texts, calls, even showing up at my apartment unannounced. Then she found out I'd started seeing someone new. Her harassment escalated to include Sarah, my new girlfriend. At first, it was just messages, threats and insults sent to Sarah's phone, but it wasn't long before it became something far more sinister. One evening, I was on my way home from work when I got a text from Sarah. "I'll see you soon." I frowned. Sarah wasn't supposed to be in town. She'd left to visit her mom for New Year's. I figured maybe she'd come back early as a surprise. Smiling at the thought, I started to type a reply when I noticed a package on my doorstep. It was a plain cardboard box with no return address. My name was scrawled across the top, but I hadn't ordered anything. Occasionally, I'd get mail addressed to the previous tenant, but this was different. Curious, I brought it inside and set it on the table. Grabbing a knife, I sliced the tape and opened the box. Inside was a smaller, pink box with a card taped to the top. The note read, "See you soon. Love, Sarah." I smiled, assuming she'd left it for me before heading out of town. But as I opened the pink box, my heart stopped. Inside was a severed head. I froze, staring in horror at the lifeless face. It was Sarah. Her expression was twisted in agony, her eyes glassy and unseeing. My stomach turned as panic surged through me, my breath caught in my throat. Before I could scream, I heard movement behind me. I turned just in time to see my ex step out of the shadows, that her eyes wild and unhinged. "If I can't have you," she hissed, clutching a knife in her hand, "then no one can." And then she lunged. Ethan stepped into his dimly lit apartment, the weight of the breakup still fresh. The air felt heavy, but he knew it was for the best. Emily had been intense, too intense. He needed space to breathe, to find himself again. His phone buzzed on the counter. "Emily," he sighed, ignoring it. Then another buzz, and another. Within minutes, his screen lit up like fireworks. Texts poured in, desperate apologies, accusations, promises, threats. Ethan blocked her number. Silence followed, but only for an hour. A new number started calling, then another. His email flooded with messages, some begging for forgiveness, others spewing venom. The next morning, his doorbell rang. Ethan peered through the peephole to see no one, only a note taped to the door. "You can't escape me." His blood ran cold. That night, he sat in his dark living room, phone off, curtains drawn, heart pounding. From the shadows outside, a soft whisper echoed, "You shouldn't have left me." Ethan leaned back against his old pickup truck, the cool night air brushing his face. He glanced at his watch for the third time in 5 minutes. "Where are you, Lily?" he muttered, scanning the empty parking lot of the diner. She was never late. His phone buzzed, shattering the silence. A message. His heart sank when he saw the sender. Jessica, his ex. "Come to the cabin, alone, or she dies." Panic gripped him. He hadn't seen Jessica in months, not since her erratic behavior had forced him to end things. But this was something else. Ethan drove like a madman, the winding forest roads blurring under his headlights. The cabin loomed in the distance, its silhouette a dark shadow against the moonlight. He burst through the door, the smell of damp wood and burnt candles choking him. "Jessica!" he yelled. "Where is she?" Jessica emerged from the shadows, a twisted smile on her face. Her blonde hair, once pristine, hung in wild tangles around her face. "You always said she was better than me," she hissed, circling him like a predator. "Where's Lily?" he demanded, his voice cracking. Jessica gestured toward the basement door. "She's here." But she didn't last long. Ethan froze, his stomach turning to ice. He bolted down the creaking stairs, his breath shallow. At the bottom, a small figure lay crumpled in the corner, motionless. "Lily?" he whispered, kneeling beside her. His trembling hands confirmed what he already knew. She was gone. Jessica's laughter echoed from the top of the stairs. "You thought you could leave me?" she screamed, her voice venomous. "You thought you could replace me?" Ethan clenched his fists, tears streaming down his face. He turned back toward the stairs, but Jessica was gone, the door slamming shut above him. The lock clicked. He was trapped, alone, and the woman he loved was gone forever. The cabin sat silent in the woods as the wind carried Jessica's fading laughter through the trees.
I hope you enjoyed this short story. If you did, please consider leaving a like, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing for more stories.